He thought it would be just another night. A few drinks, a few laughs, and a waitress too shy to fight back. But when he reached out to tear her shirt, everything stopped. Because what he saw beneath it didn't just silence the bar, it shattered him. This is the night a feared biker met the ghost of his own past, and it changed him forever. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, because this story will stay with you long after it ends. It was a Friday night in a small roadside bar on the outskirts of Texas, the kind of place where the air smelled like burnt whiskey, old leather, and motorcycle smoke. Neon lights buzzed lazily above the counter, casting pink and blue reflections across the rows of empty bottles. A jukebox in the corner hummed out a slow country tune, and the sound of laughter mingled with the clinking of glasses. The place was called Red Coyote's Denver. Everyone in town knew it as the kind of bar where you kept your head down, paid for your drink, and didn't ask questions. Because if the wrong people were there, people like him, silence could be the difference between walking out and being carried out. That night, the door swung open with a thud. Axel Kane walked in, tall, broad, with eyes that looked like they'd seen too much war and too little peace. The leader of the Iron Reapers biker gang. His black jacket was covered with patches, each one telling a story of brotherhood, betrayal, and blood. The crowd's laughter softened instantly. Even the bartender, Hank, paused mid-pour. "Whiskey. Double." Axel grunted as he sat at his usual corner table. His men followed behind him, loud, rowdy, reeking of gasoline and ego. Then there was her, Lila. She was the newest waitress, only her second week there. She had that nervous energy of someone trying to start over. She didn't speak much, just smiled politely and worked hard. There was something fragile yet strong about her, the kind of woman who'd been through storms and learned how to walk in the rain. She approached Axel's table with a tray of drinks. Her hands shook slightly, but she managed to keep her voice steady. "Here you go, sir." Axel didn't look up. "You knew?" "Yes, sir." He finally lifted his gaze, his cold gray eyes meeting hers. For a second, his smirk faded. There was something about her eyes that stirred a feeling he hadn't felt in years. But it vanished as quickly as it came. He leaned back, chuckling. "Don't call me sir. Makes me feel old." One of his men laughed. "She's too polite, boss. Probably not from around here." Lila smiled faintly, then moved to the next table. But as she turned, her elbow brushed a bottle. It tipped over, spilling beer all over one biker's jacket. Everything froze. The man stood abruptly, beer dripping from his sleeve. "What the hell?" I'm so sorry," she stammered, grabbing napkins. Before he could shout, Axel raised his hand. "Easy, brother." She didn't mean it. He turned to her, his smirk returning. "No harm done, sweetheart. Just try not to waste the good stuff next time." There was laughter around the table, but it wasn't the friendly kind. It was sharp and mocking. Lila forced a smile and hurried off. For the rest of the night, Axel watched her. Every move she made, every nervous glance. He noticed how she kept adjusting the sleeve of her left arm, like she was hiding something beneath her uniform. Curiosity twisted into arrogance. By midnight, the place was half empty. Only the bikers remained, laughing too loud, drinking too much. Hank, the bartender, whispered to Lila, "Keep your head down, honey. That one's bad news." She nodded, trying to avoid Axel's eyes. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. As she walked past his table again, one of his men nudged Axel. "Bet she's hiding a wedding ring. Or maybe a scar." Axel chuckled darkly. Only one way to find out. Before anyone could stop him, he reached out and grabbed Lila's wrist. The tray she was carrying fell to the floor, the crash echoing across the room. "Hey," she gasped, pulling away. Axel smirked, his voice dripping with mockery. "Relax, sweetheart. Don't be shy. What are you hiding under there?" He tugged at the edge of her shirt, hard enough that it tore at the shoulder. The laughter stopped. Everyone froze. Lila stumbled back, clutching the torn fabric. Tears welled in her eyes, not from fear, but from humiliation. Her breathing quickened, and then Axel saw it. A small, faded tattoo inked just above her collarbone, an eagle, globe, and anchor. The U.S. Marine Corps insignia. And beneath it, words written in careful script. "For Daniel, forever my brother." Axel's smirk vanished. His hand dropped instantly. The room was silent. Even the air seemed to stop moving. Lila looked at him, trembling, her voice barely above a whisper. "You served, didn't you?" Axel's jaw tightened. How do you know that? Because that tattoo, she said softly, was designed by Sergeant Daniel Kane. My brother. The words hit him like a punch to the chest. He took a step back, eyes wide. Sergeant Daniel Kane. That name had haunted him for years. The man who dragged him out of a burning Humvee during an ambush in Helmand Province. The man who took the bullet meant for him. The man whose dog tags Axel still carried. He swallowed hard, his voice cracking. Daniel was your brother? Lila nodded. Her eyes shimmered. He never came home. They said he saved a soldier. I never knew who. Axel's drink slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. His throat tightened as the memories came flooding back. The explosion, the screams, Daniel's voice shouting, Go. You've got a life to live, brother. He felt at his knees right there on the sticky floor. His gang stared in disbelief. The man they feared more than the law was shaking. It was me, he whispered. I was the one he saved. Lila's hand flew to her mouth. The room spun with emotion. The same man who had just humiliated her was the reason her brother never came home. Axel looked up at her, tears forming in his eyes. I didn't know. God, I didn't know. If I had, she cut him off. Her voice cracked, but her words were firm. You didn't have to know. You just had to be decent. Those words shattered him more than any bullet ever could. He stared at the floor, guilt swallowing him whole. The silence in the bar was heavy, suffocating. No one dared to speak. Slowly, Axel took off his leather jacket, the one that bore the Iron Reaper's emblem. He placed it gently on the counter. Daniel used to say, a man's worth is what he does when no one's watching. His voice trembled. I guess I forgot that. He turned to leave. No one stopped him. The next morning, the jacket was still there. Inside the pocket, Hank found a folded note. It read, For Lila, your brother's debt is one I can never repay. The Iron Reapers are yours now, if you ever need protection. A.K. Weeks passed. The bar returned to its usual rhythm, but something had changed. The bikers who once caused chaos now came in quietly, paying their bills, treating the staff with respect. The Iron Reapers were still around, but different. Then one rainy night, headlights flashed through the bar's windows. A single bike pulled up. Lila looked up instinctively, her heart pounding. The door creaked open. A young man walked in, dripping rain from his jacket. On the back, stitched under the Reaper's emblem, were 3 new words, Ride with honor. He placed a letter on the counter. Axel wanted you to have this. Lila opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a photograph, her brother and Axel, standing together in uniform. On the back, a message in faded ink. Your brother taught me what it means to be a man. You reminded me what it means to be human. She pressed the letter to her chest, tears rolling down her cheeks. From that night on, Red Coyote's den was never the same. People said a certain peace lingered there, as if the ghosts of regret and redemption finally found rest. And every year, on the anniversary of that night, a single rose would appear on the bar counter. No one ever saw who left it, but Lila always knew. Sometimes life exposes who we are not through power or pride, but through the moments when we lose control and what we choose to do afterward. That night, a biker tried to humiliate a woman and found his lost humanity instead. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to remember, kindness can change even the darkest soul.